Hey guys, I'm Meteorologist Chris Tomer on this Saturday morning. Let's talk about the pattern here. This is really the final surge of atmospheric river moisture. You can see it slamming into San Francisco. This is the first of two different low pressure systems. This will nail the Sierra all the way from Tahoe down to Mammoth with big totals, but that's the radar out of San Jose, I believe. Let me show you my bullet points here. So we're going to see a pattern shift across the west after 117. So between now and 117, these two lows will have to move through, and then they'll hit the Intermountain West, the Intermountain Rockies, with big totals. I mean, we're still looking at big totals from this. And then the pattern's going to shift to the north. The AR is going to shut down. The pattern's going to be more amplified with the jet. I'll show you what it looks like. We'll zoom it out and take a look at it. It's going to favor the Pacific Northwest, BC, northern tier of the Rockies, probably Montana, Wyoming, Colorado for the transition period. And that's going to shoot two different storm systems into the northeast. And actually pretty decent totals in my forecast for the northeast. I'll show you that coming up. First off, this is the water vapor satellite this morning. Let me just point out what we're dealing with. So this is a really big area of low pressure right here. Everything's sort of rotating around it. There's a lot of energy. There's another little low here as well. But everything's just kind of riding this, what's left of this atmospheric river connection, this Pineapple Express. So all that moisture gets entrained with these lows and deposited California, West Coast, and then into the interior. So what's going to happen is this other low will rotate in behind it, and that will mark the end of this. And then this area, this part of the flow will start to amplify, and we're going to see a ridging effect across most of the West Coast and the probably Gulf of Alaska down the road. And here is the latest forecast for the integrated vapor transport, the atmospheric river. You can see we've got one last weak to moderate type of intensity push, and then the noise really drops off. I mean, we're talking about very low levels, not an AR, in that non-AR category after about the 117 mark, and then that's going to be it. Let me just show you what the jet stream looks like. So we'll do two different zooms here. This is a tight look at 123. You can see that instead of that very consolidated, nice and neat west to east jet escorting all that moisture in like a fire hose, it's gone. And what we're dealing with is a much more amplified, high pressure type ridge in the jet. So all the moisture is getting sent into the Pacific Northwest, Gulf of Alaska, BC, and then it's being shuttled down through probably Banff and interior Canada, down through Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, northern New Mexico, where you see that straight north to south shot on the jet. So here's the other view of this. Same day, same time period. It's just zoomed out at this point. You can really see the amplification with this high pressure type ridge here sitting across the West Coast. The net result will be a much drier situation for the West Coast, a complete drying up of the atmospheric river. But new areas will be favored, and again, because of this, we're going to send two low pressures into the northeast. All right, let me go back to this, and let me show you. Go back to the forecast aspect of this. Here's the future radar and the satellite. So there's Sunday morning at 6, snow in the interior. Here comes the second and very last low pressure hitting California. Then it moves into the interior through 117. Look at Colorado getting snow into 118. And then what you see here is all coming out of the Pacific Northwest. So this is a different type of west-northwest flow, bringing the moisture out of the Pacific Northwest and BC, running through the northern tier of states. And areas like Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, Colorado will benefit from this changing pattern during that transition period with everything coming out of the west-northwest. All right, let's talk about the totals. So this is all of 114 through 116, obviously big totals with these two remaining lows in California, anywhere from 2 to probably 4 feet of additional snow. Most of that's at Mammoth. Another 1 to 2 feet for the Wasatch, potentially 6 to 12 up in the Tetons. And in Colorado, you're dealing with a lot of snow western slope, potentially 6 to 12 inches or more. We could see some bigger numbers through Purgatory and Wolf Creek. Again, that's through 116. All right, here's 117 through 123. Clear decisive shift in the pattern. Very little snow through California. All of it shifting to the Pacific Northwest, running down through Montana. You got 14 on the board for Big Sky. I've got another 9 to 10 through the Tetons, and potentially another 1 to 2 feet for the Wasatch. So this is a pretty good period through 123 through parts of the interior. Colorado, another 8 to maybe 20 inches of snow. A lot of that's western slope, but I like what I'm seeing. I mean, between period 1, look at Colorado. Let's hone in, for example, on Wolf Creek. So 19 in period 1 and another 19 in period 2. So you're looking at like 3 feet. Let's go back. Here's the first period. Alta, 18 first period, 19 second period. So again, 2 to 3 feet of snow. First period up in Steamboat, 8, another 8 in the second period. Let's go back. What about Aspen Snowmass? 3 in the first, 14 in the second. So you get the idea. I mean, we've got good totals ahead. Let's shift to the northeast. Okay, so the totals look good. Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. But what we're dealing with here are the totals from 2 different storm systems. There is a first storm system early in the period. I don't want to say early, but midway through, like 19-ish, maybe 20th. And then there's another storm around the 22nd, 23rd. So 2 different storm systems will hit and deliver, it looks like, 1 to 2 feet of accumulation. All right, guys, there you go for this Saturday morning update. Always appreciate you tuning in here. Take care.